Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Chili, and I'm back with another recap from the third qualifiers for the state championship here in Brasilia. And this was game 4 out of the six rounds that there are. And I'm facing a 1857 in this game. I am playing black here, and yeah, never met this guy as well. This is a first time playing this guy, and we get into d4, knight f6, and here I prepped a lot against him. I thought he was gonna play like knight c3 and stuff like that, which is what his database shows, but he played a really strange move. Maybe he wasn't comfortable playing against me, and he plays a3 here. And this game is really instructive because sometimes people will play weird moves, and when people play weird moves and it's not any known opening, like a3, for instance, then what we need to do is play just chess. We're at the board, we're playing chess, and whoever plays better chess wins. That's basically it. And so, yeah, a3 isn't really a move I'm worried about. So since it's not anything I'm worried about, I'll just continue developing and playing the best move possible. So I'll play g6 here, okay, c4, bishop g7, he goes knight c3, all standard stuff. Now the only irregular thing about this was this a3 move. And besides that, it's just a normal King's Indian position, more or less. I get to castle first because gets castle before the e4 push, just because he played this a3. e4 comes in, d6, bishop e2, and now really this would be a typical position except for the a3, and I now have to choose between e5 and c5, and what I was prepping was e5 for this tournament, but since he's played a3, this is really important to note. This move here, which I play, is completely dictated by this a3 move, and the what I figure is the best way to exploit it. And I play c5 here, and I think c5 is a really critical move. Why is it a critical move? Because in these Benoni positions after d5, a very common idea here is for black to try and break open through the a6 b5 push, right? So a6 and b5. And the reason I play this way is because sometimes when black plays a6, white will play a4 and trying to delay that push. But notice that he's played a3, and so if I go a6 and he wants to play a4, he has to waste a second tempo, and that's really not good for him. So that's two moves that he wasted in the opening, and those tempi are going to be so critical that it's going to be just a way more pleasant position for black. And so I'm really happy about this, that he played this d5 move, and I was already prepping stuff like a6 and b5. But first of all, I have to play e6. And now it's not good for white to take. You don't want to weaken your center. And so he doesn't take, he plays bishop e3, developing move, which is good. And now I go rook e8, threatening to break open the position with e takes d, f3, and then we have e takes d, c takes. We're definitely not going to take with the e pawn as white because that would just hang a bishop, so this is practically forced. And I was looking for tactics along the d5 square, something like knight takes d5, and if the pawn ever has to be captured, then that's the bishop hanging as well. So I was looking for that, but it wasn't there. I was wondering, should I play knight d7 here? Should I go for a6 and b5 straight away? And the most natural move here is to play a6, just because b5 can't really be stopped. So it can be. He does stop it. So a6 and this a4 move I talked about, where he wastes the tempo, and this is just really good for black. So yeah, I can't play b5 for now because of a takes, and I can't take back because my rook will hang. So I play knight bd7 here, which is very good, I'd say. This is a good move in my opinion. He plays knight h3, and the idea here is to develop on the knight to f2, where there's like stuff like g4, h4, h5, and just push a kingside attack really is what he wants. There's not really any other ideas with this move except for that. You maybe could try knight f4, but that just looks really strange, and the knight doesn't do much on f4, so yeah, knight to f2 is the main idea here. For some reason, I play knight e5. I'm not unhappy with this move. Maybe this had to be the way I go about it, but yeah, I was worried about f4 ideas here, but f4 doesn't work because I would have g4, knight g4, more specifically knight e to g4. And after he plays knight to f2, he now does have this f4 push, which was scary. So with this in mind, I felt like, okay, my knight just wasted the move because it's going to have to move back at some point. I'm probably going to have to play knight back to d7. If he plays f4, he's going to really start launching his attack, so this was scary. I think instead of knight e5, I should have just played rook b8. So in this position, just go rook b8 and make b5 an idea again, basically. Oh wait, isn't an idea? Push, take. No, because I'd hang. Maybe not, because then I could take on the... No, because then queen takes. Okay, yeah. Doesn't work. I guess I would have to play like this. So now rook b8. a5 by him, which is very strange. And it's very strange because now he either takes en passant. If I play b5 and then my queen can recapture and everything is secure and safe. So that's a third pawn move. He made 1, 2, 3 moves and that's just too slow. It's never gonna work that way. So I just play b5, a takes, queen takes b6, and notice that none of this would have been possible if I played e5, which is what I prepped, which is what I'm familiar with, which is what I'm comfortable with. But I played this c5 move here, and it benefited me tremendously. So sometimes we just have to play chess. We can't be too dogmatic, can't stick to our ideas. We need to play what the board demands, and I feel like I did this really well in this game. So yeah, queen b6, and now I'm targeting the weak b2 pawn. Rook b1 is only natural, and now we need to think of a plan. So obviously black's play is on the queen side. We have to find a way to kind of exploit the position, and one thing I was noticing was maybe a really good idea is to pin this knight with queen d4, which is what I play. And the idea here is that if the knight continues to be pinned, there may be tactics along the d5 square, and maybe I can take that pawn and maybe take the bishop with the rook, which I was talking about. This hanging bishop on e3 looks kind of loose. Definitely not now, but this was one of the ideas. But the secondary and the most important, I'd say, is now I've viabilized a really common pattern in the Benoni, and not the Benoni, the Benko gambit. And yeah, like I'm not a huge Benko player, which is funny because my channel's called Dr. Benko, but yeah, I think I really enjoy the Benko gambit. It's a really cool opening, I'd say. I really enjoy playing it, and one of the main ideas is you can push c4, and once you push c4, this makes a really nice outpost for the knight on d3. Of course, I can't take over the square now, but I could prep it with like let's just say c4, knight fd7, knight c5, and then jump in. Maybe the bishop can come in after a5 and bishop to a6, and that would be sufficient defense on the d3 square. But this was the main idea. The idea is I want to dominate the d3 square. So yeah, queen b4, he castles undoing the pin, and I notice here that maybe I have something different here. Maybe I don't have to play the c4 push. Maybe I can play knight c4. And the idea of knight c4 is that I pressure this bishop, which is hanging, and I pressure this pawn again. So how do you really defend this? It's not really clear how to defend both. Like, you could play a very simple move like bishop c1, but that just undevelops. Why would you want to do that? So yeah, I was calculating all these lines. If like bishop f4, can I take on b2? Maybe that would be queen to c2, and that could be kind of annoying, but yeah, I saw this to be good. He plays bishop to f5 here, and after bishop f5, so yeah, knight takes b2 is definitely consideration. And again, I found stronger. Like, if you see a good move, look for stronger. Always look for stronger. And the move I saw here was knight h5. Why is this such a good move? Because, again, now my bishop is open. My bishop is attacking this knight, and there may be tactics. And I'm hitting this bishop, which is really loose. It's hanging now, which is another tempo move. And yeah, the best move here would be to move the bishop back to c1, probably, unfortunately. Although, if you play bishop c1 now, then I can just take on c3 with my bishop, and pawn can't take because of queen takes rook. Yeah, so maybe bishop to g3 was necessary, but then knight takes, and I double your pawns. I've got the dark square bishop, and yeah. Bishop g5 doesn't look good as well, because of h6 stuff. Bishop g4, bishop h4, sorry. g5, bishop g3, and it's kind of the same position. I wouldn't be too scared about playing h6 and g5 in this position. Yeah, I think this is just really good for me. So I play this knight h5 move. He plays a good move here. It develops and hits my queen. He plays knight d3. So knight d3 coming in. And here I make a mistake. A really big mistake. I play queen b6, which is a huge mistake because it's not just a mistake, it's a blunder, because now he can just play very simple queen a4, and he's hitting my knight, he's hitting my rook, and this just gains material. So I hung a full piece here because I missed this idea, and yeah, really unfortunate. I can't take on f4 because of just queen takes e8 and it comes with check. If it didn't come with check, I'd be okay, but since it does, that's really unlucky. So yeah, this was definitely a bad position that I could have reached. And the way to deal with this would have been to play the engine line gives bishop d7, queen takes c4, bishop takes, e takes, and then bishop b5, but this is really dubious. Black is just down the full piece, so it's not really good. Yeah, this queen a4 was devastating, but he didn't play it. So what should have black played instead of queen b6? The engine just gives knight takes b2 here, and if the knight takes the queen, then I just play knight takes d1, bishop takes d1, and I take this knight. Takes the pawn, I take this, and yeah, I am up a piece. If he plays rook takes b2, then I can play queen d4 check, rook blocks, rook takes b2, knight takes, and then I take his bishop, and I'm attacking both of these pieces. Yeah, and I'm attacking this with the knight. It's just really devastating. You can't queen trade, you can't play queen takes d4 because of bishop takes d4, and your rook is pinned, and I'm gonna win it. Yeah, really tough position here. So queen b6 was a mistake, but he plays queen c1. And now I've kind of got everything I could have wanted in this game, and this is where black's advantage becomes significant from this queen c1 move. So if you want to pause the video, try and find a continuation here for black. It's a sequence which gives a really big advantage. And if you found it, congratulations. It starts off with knight takes f4, and the better move in my opinion would be knight takes, but he plays queen takes. And if you calculated this possibility, you probably saw this bishop d4 check. The knight comes back to defend. Maybe king h1 was a bit better, I'm not sure, just because the knight's a bit underdeveloped now. And yeah, we're probably gonna have to move the king anyway to get the knight moving. But after knight f2, there's this really interesting bishop e3 move, which is such a good move because you're interfering with the defense of this basically, and now you've just got a clean fork here on d2 after knight d2. And yeah, this was my idea. So queen g3, knight d2, king h1, take, bishop takes so I don't hang b2, bishop back, threatening to take, knight fd1, a5, just going in for the kill on the queen side. Again, all my play is still on the queen side, so I have to play on the queen side. But my idea here is basically just trade off pieces. I'm up in exchange, so the more I trade, the easier the position will become. And white has an isolated pawn on b2, and that's a really big target. If I can capture that pawn, I'm probably going to make a queen. So that's where my head was at. h4, he has to attack on the king side, even though he's not prepared to. Okay, bishop a6, trying to trade off the bishops. Knight a4, hitting my queen. Queen a7. Yeah, now I think I trade. Yeah, I trade. Yeah, queen d7. Trying to line up some tactics. If I take the knight on c3, he can't take with the pawn because of queen takes a4 now. And if he takes with the knight on c3, then rook takes b2, and I get exactly what I wanted. So rook b1 has to be played, so you can take with the knight. Rook b4, again hitting the a4 square. Rook a1, bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes, and he does manage to pick up the a5 pawn, but I'm not too worried about it because now I have a pass pawn. The c pawn is now a pass pawn, and I can just push that down the board and probably make a queen. Although the game does get really complicated. It beats me why I played... Okay, I remember now, yeah. So rook b3, hitting this knight. The knight has to move, and I play rook b3 instead of rook c2 because if I play rook c2, then he has rook a3, and that defends. And I really don't want him to defend. I want him to move the piece, which he does. He plays knight e2. And here I had a really simple rook takes e4. This just wins a clean pawn, and black is just completely winning, completely crushing. Again, this knight is hit. There's probably going to be some checks along this file, and if I can get my queen to like just this square, then I can play rook takes h4, and that's game over. Yeah, very good position. So c4 I start with. I don't play the rook e4, I missed it completely. Rook a6 by him, and here I start. For some reason I just go super aggressive, super on the attacking side. For some reason I play rook e5, getting my rook up, allowing him to check me on the back rank, and he plays queen f4. Again, setting up some tactics, and queen e7, threatening the h4 square. So my idea is obviously to play rook h5 and then take on h4 with the queen if he moves his queen. Knight d4, hitting my rook. Rook b1 check, king h2, and now, is it now? Rook h5, g3. And after this line, I calculate a very long tactical sequence, and it was really hard to calculate this out properly. But I had to see it from this move, because the move I play here was queen d7. I'm going to show this ahead of time, but the reason I had to calculate this line out very nicely is because of queen takes d6, and that would just win the pawn if it's not good, and probably it would be close to equality, my guess, although I'm not sure. His pieces get very active really quickly, and that's scary, so I shouldn't hang this pawn, and I don't, because it's actually tactically correct. So he takes the pawn, and now if you'd like to calculate, this here is mating, believe it or not. There's only one continuation here which mates, and I'll give you some time to pause the video and calculate it for yourselves. If you found it, congratulations. This was a really hard position, and I spent so much time on here. He was playing super fast the whole game, and I really wasn't, and I had about like 40 minutes on the clock left. Yeah, okay, I was kind of fast for move 40. Yeah, I had 40 minutes or something, and I went all the way down to 3 minutes, basically. I spent all my time here because, again, either this is winning or it's not, and here it's winning. The winning continuation is rook takes h4, g takes, queen b2 check, king g3, rook g1, king f4, and now just the queen h2. Simple. And the only square you do have for your king is e3, and after rook to e1 check, that is winning. So yeah, this was the game. If you're wondering, rook h4, rook takes h4 is the only correct move here. It's the only move that wins, because if you play something like, okay, let's just say, I'll throw in an engine to help me here. Let's just say queen to b2 check. So queen b2 check, king has to come to h1, sorry, h3. Now just follow the engine line here once it loads up. Yeah, this is dead equal. Rook h1 check, king g4, and my idea here was that I wanted to play something like f5, but f5 doesn't work because he takes my rook on h5 at the end after I take with the g pawn, and that doesn't win. And I need to play something aggressive because he is staring at my king with mate threats like rook a8, king up, queen f8, and that looks really close to mate in my eyes. So yeah, maybe a continuation to draw this would be rook takes here, take, and then queen b2 check, something like take. Actually, king g5 is the only surviving move here. So king g5, rook h5, king g4, and no progress can be made, basically. So yeah, this would be the position. And let's just say then, let's just say we play rook check. This is actually losing now. This is +2 for white. So rook check, there's just king h3, and there's nothing left for us. We could try a queen c8 check, but that doesn't work because of a very simple g4. And then you're just done. Position is over. So yeah, rook h4 was the only move here. Take, and now you have to play queen check, which is the only follow-up check. King g3, rook g1 is the only check as well. King f4 is the only, it's not the only square. If you play king h3, then obviously that's mate, so you have to go down, and that would be the sequence. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you got the tactical sequences correct, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.